So welcome back to Rock Empire Fridays on a Sunday. I did say last week that I'm going to be pushing Rock Empire Fridays to Sunday this week because we wanted to do some 21 Pilots reactions. We haven't finished with those. We'll obviously get to those, and then this coming week we're doing the anthems again. So just to let you guys know, we're starting today off with Five Finger Death Punch, Living the Dream. We have reacted to Five Finger Death Punch before. I think it was one of the ones I reacted to, or the one I reacted to was about the US military veterans. If I'm not mistaken, that was the one. That was quite a powerful video. And this one over here is Living the Dream. There is a note over here that from Sammy that says, worth reading the message written beneath the video by the band's guitarist. So let's just take a look at that. Let's open up over here. Okay, there it is. Okay, so America is a beautiful idea that draws immigrants like myself from all over the world to the promised land of equality, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This idea is now under siege, and certain events are starting to remind me of things many of us came here to escape. Yes, it's not a left against right problem, but an evolutionary problem. The growing pains of civilization that without the necessary spiritual enlightenment, that's a very sort of pertinent point over there, arrived a bit early to a level of technology where everyone is connected. The good news is that now everyone has a voice, which is a problem actually. The bad news is that now everyone has a voice, 100%. I actually said this a few times in my reaction where I said the best thing about the times before social media is that the village idiot stayed in the village. Now you hear all of their voices. So carrying on, it says, so we are living in the manipulator's paradise, 100%, where liars and hypocrites run unscathed. The news are just opinions, politics are blood sports. So we're doing a political track. I like this. The facts are determined by consensus instead of truth. We are artists, however, have a unique opportunity to portray and ridicule the absurd to prevent it from becoming reality. Yeah, I think you're hearing a lot more. You can definitely feel a different level of consciousness coming about now, where people are getting to their sort of like nth point and being like, okay, this enough is enough, right? Anyway, Five Finger Death Punch, Living the Dream. Now I'm super excited for this. Let's rock and roll. Let's see what we got. Fiction reveals truth that reality obscures. Ralph Waldo. Social zombies. The toilet paper. By the way, this over here, this song was released in 2020. Sammy has given me all the dates of when these songs were released. 2020, obviously the pandemic, obviously the toilet paper craze, where everyone was going out and buying everything in bulk, right? Not really caring about who has or who could get or nothing. It's just like, as long as I can store a garage full of toilet paper, it's all about me. Okay, I see where you're starting. That's like a mad portrayal of the United States. I love the fact that they're using these superheroes like Iron Man sitting there in the corner, just indulgence, full-blown indulgence, obesity. It's all about my personal temptations. It's all about my personal wants. Essentially, so this is like a more realistic depiction of those superheroes, right? Not the guys with the good bodies and the guys who are smart and the guys who are there to do good. Captain America was doing a line of coke off the table, eating himself into a stupor, right? So you can see how they're already portraying this. 'Cause I'm just Iron Man. I'm a ghost within a shell. The tired part, okay, this is going to be crazy because there's going to be a lot to actually say about this particular video. So, and I know with Five Finger Death Punch, specifically the videos get blocked. I might have to put a filter on this. right? But you can already see that Tide Pod trend that was going around on TikTok and social media where kids were putting Tide Pods in their mouths, right? And I think 1 or 2 kids died from doing that stupid thing on social media. Like, that is literally the level of retardation that we've gotten to in society.
Take a look around. Just look around.
Oh, exempt!
They say the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Why did they never mention what's real and in?
The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Today, the road to hell is paved with Ivy League degrees. You know what I mean? Everyone's an expert. But the experts, unfortunately, there's a lot of PhD idiots out there today. Before, it used to be something that used to be sort of revered, you know? If you were a PhD laureate, you were like, oh my God, this is like the elite of the elite. These are the guys that are all about facts and truth and shit like that. But now all you get is PhD idiots. You have people that are literally sitting in very top positions, right? Who don't fail downwards, who only fail upwards, even though they're not performing, even though they are corrupt and whatever else, they'll still fail upwards, because that's just the way society is built today. And that's the way our systems have been built today as well. So you get and it's crazy where you see it, like the professor or the teacher has got a little badge, right, that looks very much like a communist China type badge, but it says exempt, right? So it's rules for thee, but not for me. Do you know what I mean? You've got to comply, and it's always for your safety. Always. Have you heard? There's always that word every day. They've gotten the society to be so frozen with fear, right? Because everything's going to get you. Everything. The boogeyman, the sun monster's gonna get you, the virus thing's gonna get you, the this is gonna get you, the that's gonna get you. Everything is going to get you. Nothing is based on actual, true, hardcore facts. Everything was politicized. Right? And it's not to say that during the COVID pandemic, it was a time that everybody didn't really know what was going on. Like, everybody didn't really know what the virus was about. And I know there was a lot of fear and shit like that. But they amplified that without information. They amplified that. Why? Because it suited their agenda. Right? So put on the mask. Stay away from your loved ones. Listen to all of the rhetoric. Stay sick. And all of that after the fact came out to be like, you didn't have to do this. We didn't have to trash economies. We didn't have to do all that kind of shit, right? It's crazy how we closed down all small businesses and medium-sized businesses. The hairdresser needed to shut down. God forbid, if they were open, right? They would be fined or go to fucking jail, be arrested for being open, right? But all of the S&P 500 companies ran, man. And what they did, which was very clever, this is why when they sit there and they come and tell you and they say, you hear people like AOC saying, tax the rich, tax them. They don't give a fuck, right? But for someone like that to say tax the rich, and then she more specifically, right, was all about all of the COVID regulations, right? She was saying tax the rich, and at the same time, she was saying close your small business, stay at home, be compliant. Here's the money the government is going to give you, which eventually you're going to pay back. Actually, you've already paid it back through inflation 10 times over. So I'm sure you guys were very glad to get that little pittance that they gave you. You've already paid it back 10 times over in fuel costs. You've already paid it back in grocery costs. You've already paid back in all of inflation. It's the greatest tax of all, right? But she was saying, you stay at home. You be compliant. We give you this money. And the only people you can spend this money on, right, is on the top biggest fucking companies like Amazon. So shop online, right? Make the bigger guys even bigger, and your companies need to fucking close down, right? Because people don't realize money flows upwards. The government ensures that money flows upwards. So when they lock you in your house and give you a fucking welfare check or whatever it is, and tell you to stay at home, right? It's to transfer your money upwards. It was the greatest wealth transfer in fucking history, right? But then again, AOC is like, tax the rich. But on the flip side of that coin, she was like, stay at home, right? Stay at home. You need to comply. Do you know what I mean? Do they really care? No one gives a fuck. Let's just be real.
Real and in between. It seems the path we're on was paved with blood and sorrow. No thought about tomorrow. Just part of the machine.
the people that will forever tell you that you need to be tolerant, right? They will only be tolerant with you if you comply. Do you know what I mean? If you have a different position, right, your compliancy badge gets taken away, and you need to be shut down, and you need to shut up, essentially, right? Their level of intolerance for you is on another scale, but you need to be compassionate, and you need to be tolerant. You need to be tolerant, obviously, for the safety of people, right? You need to be locked inside your houses, but at the same time, Barack Obama can run a party with 400 people, right? No social distancing, 400 people at Martha's Vineyard. Barack Obama, it's a slap in the face. It's a slap in the face. They're insulting you to your face.
We're all living the dream. Hey there, your majesty. Is there anyone above you? It must be lonely when you're up there looking down. Hey, Lady Amnesty, there's no one that can judge you. We're all just broken toys beneath your crooked crown. Take a look around.
Nothing wrong with that. They obviously just identify as militia puppies. That's okay. All good. All good, each to their own, I guess.
Crooked crown. Take a look around. Just look around. They say the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Why did they never mention what's real and in between? It seems the path we're on was paved with blood and sorrow. No thought about tomorrow. Just part of
The US flag, the dreaded Star and Spangled Banner, the dreaded Star and Spangled Banner. Oh my God. No, we can't see that. We can't see that. You know what I mean? That is the thing about symbolism. That is the thing about a flag, is that a population will unite under a flag, right? Together, that flag should be the symbol of unity. It should be that everyone is American first, before all of their political leanings and whatever. They're your fellow Americans. Do you know what I mean? But they've divided everybody, right? They've now used that symbol, which is supposed to be a symbol of unity. They've used that to divide. They've used that. First, they insult the group of people who are the patriots, the ones that go to the military, right? The ones that go and actually fight in the military, the ones that give up their lives in the military. Those guys who are more patriotic and obviously more right-leaning, guys in the Rust Belt and all those kind of fucking guys, right? They've now said, in order to divide these people, they need to say that America's a terrible place. America's a terrible place, right? All you gotta do is walk around the world for 5 fucking minutes and you'll realize that, if you had to walk around the world for 5 fucking minutes, you wouldn't wait to go back to America. Put it that way, okay? That's just literally the way it is, right? Shit's going bad. And listen, a lot of places in the world have been heavily affected by America's politics. The problem is, America for a few decades now has abused their power on the world stage. They really have, right? At first, they, specifically during the Cold War and whatever else, they were fine. But I think since the time of, I'd say, where it really began to go downhill is since Vietnam, right? When they went and they literally got involved in that war that was unnecessary. And then it kind of sort of like started to spiral, right? In terms of them getting involved in many different countries that they didn't need to get involved with. Getting involved sort of in Iraq and the whole Saudi Arabian thing, right? The whole Saudi Arabian thing, America going to Saudi Arabia and building stuff there and whatever else, was purely for money. They didn't like America. America was the evil imperialist country. But the sheikhs in Saudi Arabia were like, listen, the higher up families were like, listen, we're making a lot of good money, so we're just going to turn a blind eye. And only when they were sort of threatened by Saddam Hussein in Kuwait did Saudi Arabia start getting very nervous. And then they spoke to Mr. Dick Cheney and said, listen, I think it was Dick Cheney. Was it Dick Cheney? It could have been. Maybe Dick Cheney was Iraq. I don't know. But they spoke to the United States and they said, "Listen, we need to beat them back because like it's a stone throw away from us. And if Saddam Hussein, who's got a very powerful military, takes Kuwait, they can come for us. And if they come for us, they're affecting your interests, right?" Funny thing that most people don't know, Osama bin Laden was actually born out of that. And Osama bin Laden went to Saudi Arabia and said, "Listen, we are happy to fight we're happy to fight Saddam Hussein back." And Saudi Arabia's like, yeah, you and what army? You know what I mean? It's like, well, we beat the Russians, didn't we? Well, I think it was the Russians or somebody else, I can't remember. Or the Afghanis or something like that. And they said, yeah, but there are no mountains in Kuwait. So you won't be able to beat such a powerful military. So they shut down Osama bin Laden, right, who was very anti all of these other countries getting involved in Saudi Arabia. And they told America to come quick. And America came quick and with a fucking disastrous amount of firepower. They went fucking insane in Kuwait. Literally insane. And like in a matter of 2 weeks, they pushed back the Iraqi army and shit like that. Right? So, look, they've done some good things for the world. They're the only country with the blue water navy, right? And they protect the waterways around the world so that there is free commerce and free trade, essentially. So yes, America has got a very good place in the world, but when they started abusing their power, and then when they really started abusing their power is when 9/11 happened, which you completely understand their need for vengeance, right, after something like that, but they took it a step too far. And not only did they take it a step too far, they went from Afghanistan into, it wasn't like a retribution type thing anymore. It went from retribution to nation building all of a sudden, right? Afghanistan became a nation building operation. And then from there, they stepped into Iraq where they should have never fucking been, right? And then where it started to spiral. And that's where the world started to have all of their disdain for the United States because they were abusing their power in many spheres of influence around the world. This is why you see the chaos that is actually happening right now in the world. It's failed policy on failed policy on failed policy, and this does not benefit the American people at all. At the same time, the American social structure was completely and utterly collapsing. And as you can see where we are right now, because that gradually happens, it starts collapsing gradually, right? Through compassion and tolerance and all that kind of thing. And what happened is they started extracting American money, right? And sending American money abroad into all of these foreign wars and these foreign things, right? At the same time, in doing that, they shipped out their industrial capacity. Right? And China became the factory of the world, and America became the consumer country. They consume, and whatever they could get for $1 cheaper was greater. So they shipped their industrial capacity out, right? At the same time, while extracting money onto all of these different foreign wars. And who suffered? With the American people. Do you see your inner cities? Your inner cities, have they been built up? How much money has been put into them, right? Do you have bullet trains? Have they put money into rail? Have they put money into infrastructure? Have they put money into bridges? Have they put money? No. It seems like all the money that they have is for wars, just to send more and more money abroad for wars. Why? Because it doesn't actually go abroad. It actually goes. That money is contingent on the fact that you have to spend that money with American defense companies. Right, which means the money comes right back around. It goes straight into defense companies' bank accounts and then out into shareholders and politicians' pockets who sit on the boards of these fucking different companies, essentially. So it's all gotten corrupt. Very much the Rome model of collapse, essentially. Right, far out, far like very thinly spread around the world. Right, and then societal collapse, economic collapse. Abuse of power, corruption, and then having expanded way too far to sort of secure their hegemony, right? But in order to remain an empire, in order to to hold on to your hegemony, you need to have a strong sense of social cohesion, right? And you need to have a limited corruption, like very limited. There'll always be corruption in government, but there needs to be very limited corruption in order to keep that all going, because it's a very complex system if you're going to be the world hegemony. And most of all is not to abuse power past the limits that you've already set. Essentially, don't abuse power. And the USA has done all of those things, checked all of those boxes, right? And who suffers? The American people. Anyway, carry on. Sorry for that whole dichotomy. Carry on.
No thought about tomorrow, just part of the machine, or so it seems. Yeah, so it seems. We're all living the dream. Why did they never mention what's real and in between? It seems the path we're on is paved with blood and sorrow. No thought about tomorrow.
See, this division between black and white, actually it is black and white, and all the intersectionalities, and this division between or they're trying to create this division, right? And this division between right and left, and patriot and non-patriot, and whatever else. That's all by design. It's all been baked into the cake, right? To make people fight against themselves, because then you're always looking in front of you and never looking up. Because when you start looking up, when people start looking up, that's when they realize that's where the problem lies. This is a class war. This isn't a race war. This isn't a fucking left versus right. This is a class war. They want to keep their riches. They want to be at the top. They want to stay at the top. All right? They want to have all of the luxuries and all of the opulence and all of everything. And you need to shut up and deal with the breadcrumbs. There was a story about Stalin, right? That when he was actually in Parliament, one of his I don't know, parliamentarians, one of the guys that was, he's like his right-hand man or whatever else, said, would this not eventually blow up in our faces the way we are treating our population? Do you know what I mean? Do you not feel like that will eventually have like a blowback effect? And Stalin asked one of his people to bring a live chicken into the thing. This could just be a fable. It could be just something, but it was something that I read about, which is quite interesting, whether it's true or not. And they brought the chicken into the actual parliament or whatever it is, into the Kremlin and stuff like that. And they literally gave it to Stalin, and Stalin ripped this chicken's feathers straight off its back, right? This chicken started screaming, right? It was bleeding and everything. He ripped the feathers off his back, and this chicken was going absolutely crazy, was trying to peck Stalin and all that kind of thing. And then Stalin put him on the floor and then started throwing breadcrumbs. And after a while, the chicken started turning around, and wherever Stalin would drop the breadcrumbs, the chicken would pick at the breadcrumbs and would follow Stalin around. And then Stalin turned to his aide and said, one thing you must understand about people, they can endure a lot of pain so long as you can throw them some breadcrumbs. You know what I mean? That is bone chilling, right? Do you know why it's bone chilling? Because it's not only Stalin who knows that. It's not only Stalin who knows that. It's not only Putin who knows that. It's not only the despots around the world that know that. All governments know that. Even in the most liberal, even in the most democratic of governments. As long as you can put something on the table for the people aren't going to want to rise up, right? Because they care about their families and they don't want to cause too much a thing. So you just throw them some bones, right? And they'll keep quiet. And that's all they ever do. And if they complain, throw them some more bones, right? Throw them some more crumbs if they complain, right? Never really solve the problem. Just keep giving them crumbs to keep them quiet for another couple of months or another couple of years. Just keep kicking the can down the road. And that's why Napoleon once said, once you've lost their ears, where he's talking about the populace, once you've lost their ears, right, you best be holding fucking bread. And we are at that stage where the politicians have lost the people's ears now. All right? The politicians are, no one cares for them. No one cares for their institutions. No one trusts them. Nobody believes them. Right? So when things like pandemics happen, it's a travesty that people don't believe these institutions, which were built on an immense amount of trust, because they've all been politicized. That's what happens when you lie to your population. Right? You create that level of danger, and they don't believe anybody. That's why nobody believes in it. Nobody even wants to listen to anybody. What's happening at the moment is that everyone has their positions and they block their ears. They don't want to hear the other side. It's all point scoring. Do you know what I mean? And that's the fucking problem. When we're getting to that point now where these politicians best be holding fucking bread. Because it's going to get to a point, because people are already struggling to put food on their table. They're already struggling to put gas in their cars. They're already struggling to do the bare necessities for their families, right? And eventually that has a snapping point. Do you know what I mean? And I guess, look, history repeats itself. These things just, they operate in cycles. But anyway.
Knows all about tomorrow. Just part of a series. So it seems. Yeah, so it seems. We're all living the dream. We're all living the dream. We're all living the dream.
Here is your pen, sir.
A bad daydream, sir?
That's mad. Actually, when he was writing the Declaration of Independence, you can see that's the forefathers that were writing the Declaration of Independence. They were having a nightmare about America becoming this, right? And America actually became this, right? Come on, man.
A bad daydream, sir?
Very clever what they did here.
Sign here, sir.
We the people. That's what it was built on. We the people. That is what it was built on. Right? This is the crazy thing, is that politicians have forgotten who they fucking work for. Right? They work for the fucking people. They don't work for themselves. They don't work for the special interests, but now they spit at you. They spit at the people. They laugh directly in your face. They don't give a fuck. They forget who employs them. That's the problem with these politicians today. That's the problem. But you know what happened in France? French Revolution. When that type of shit happened, they brought out the guillotines. That's what happens. When the politicians decide that they are above the people who employ them to serve the fucking people. That's why you are there. That's why you are there. Right? So I'm not saying that the guillotines are going to be rolled out in this modern day and age. Right? But it's going to ideologically be rolled out to a certain degree, because people have had enough. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.